Hello and welcome everyone to the reading of the week for June 4th to 11th. Welcome. I invite you to take 3 deep breaths, pull yourself into the present moment, release anything that you've been giving your attention to, just let it go. Let yourself be fully here now. I invite you to take, with those deep breaths, on an exhale, just see a tree root coming out of the base of your spine, grounding you deep into Mother Earth, anchoring you in your now, knowing that that tree root is a conduit through which anything that no longer serves you can easily and effortlessly pass down into Mother Earth as compost for new growth. Creator, this is your daughter Titania, and I am here with all those present, past, present, future, across time and space, to do a reading for our collective highest and greatest good. My intention is to be a clear channel for the information that we most need to receive right now, and to provide that in a manner that we will easily and effortlessly hear, understand, and integrate for our highest and greatest well-being and the well-being of this beautiful planet we call home and all the others who also call Earth home. I'd like to call upon my higher self and the higher selves of all those listening now and in the future to be present, to facilitate this exchange, and ensure that it happens in the highest and best way possible. I'd also like to invite an overlighting angel of communication to be here. Make sure we cover what we need to cover in the time that we have, and to do it well, and to hear it well, and to become more than we were in a good way. I'd also like to invite the 4 archangels to come and hold the 4 directions around us across time and space, creating a sacred container of clarity, of wisdom, of discernment, of empowerment, of healing, of transformation, of anything that is in our collective heart and mind at this time. Help us to heal the divide. I invite Raphael to hold the east, Michael to hold the south, Gabriel to hold the west, and Uriel to hold the north. Thank you for being here with us now. The tone is for ease, for clarity, for wisdom, for love, for upliftment, for empowerment, for healing, for transformation, for healing the divide of humanity, for becoming more than we were. And anything that doesn't match these frequencies is welcome to go now. All right, so what do we need to know for our collective highest and greatest good? Right now we're in Mercury retrograde. So if you're feeling like it's a good time you find yourself cleaning things up and looking back on incomplete projects and feeling an urge to work on them, it's a really good time to do that. Sort of complete the energy from the past so you're not dragging it into the future. This is one of the first roses from my garden this year. The fragrance is intoxicating. I wish I could bottle it and send it to you. All right, what is it that we collectively need to know at this time for our highest and greatest good, the highest and greatest good of the planet, and of all who are here now at this time? Okay. Recent past, the influence is waning, but it continues into our present, into our future. This is the card of temperance, the card of balance, the card of discernment, of wisdom, of knowing how to be using our energy and where we need to be putting it right now for our greater good. So we have the angel pouring water into the vessel of the human, and the human is saying, whoa, that's good. Potentially the water of life is overflowing the vessel. But this understanding of, we are here having this human experience, and to have it successfully, it's important to be balanced. It's important not to overdo it in any extreme way, to find the moderation, to find the center place, to be in a state of well-being. And I know this is a challenge for us, especially in our modern world. So this coming back to the self, coming back to you in the now. When you find yourself in the past, bring yourself back. When you find yourself in the future, bring yourself back. Just be in your now as much as you can, and just notice when you aren't and bring yourself back. It's just a practice, a constant practice. And as a result of that, when we're in our here and now, we're far more effective at functioning and at responding to life. but it takes this intentionality, this intentional balancing, this intentional temperance of our output and our inputs, so to speak. So this is in the recent past. The influence is waning, but it continues into our present and into our future. The next card is the Hanged Man. Okay, so we have 2 major arcanas so far. And when you get major arcanas, they're indicators of areas that you need to pay attention to, and that they have to do with your soul growth, your reason for being here on the planet at this time. In this present location, we have the Hanged Man. And the Hanged Man, the message of the Hanged Man is to pull yourself to a new perspective. So we have this person who's hung themselves upside down here. And as a result, they're looking at life completely different. That reframe of their experience is giving them an insight and a discernment into their experience they did not have before. And that broader perspective is serving them, helping them to see solutions that were right in front of them that they couldn't see before. So in our present here, right here and now, we're being called to pull ourselves to a new perspective, to reframe our experience, to cast the net a little bit wider. I think about little children and how they do peekaboo through their legs. They just put their head down and they look at you between their legs, and they look at the world from between their legs, and they look at it from a new perspective, and that's delightful to them. And we've kind of forgotten how to do that. So this is a reminder in our present to do just that, to take a fresh look at our lives from a new perspective, to take a fresh look at where we're going, what we want, and allow that to inform us, allow that willingness to have that fresh perspective to be the opening through which the solutions that we're seeking come from. And they're there. That's part of our incredible co-creative dance with life, is we are the ones pulling the solutions through. We are the ones creating the solutions through our desires. And it might not be just you or just me, but collectively there's this will and this intention going out into the field. And those who have the skills and talents to answer that call are answering it and providing the solutions, coming up with the solutions. And so they're there in our field. We just have to have the willingness to be open to see those solutions and to integrate them into our experience once we perceive them. So that's our present. The near future, the card of possessiveness, the 4 of Pentacles, and we see a woman sitting clutching her jewels, her bijou, and she's looking around furtively, worried that someone will come upon her clutching her possessions. So Pentacles has to do with material things, and this is this holding energy. It's this being, and that, it's like when you love something, you set it free. It's that same idea. The more we hold on to things, the more they slip away from us. And this is calling us to soften our hold on the material, to not be so attached to the things. And if you find yourself holding or worrying or in anxiety about material things, take a deep breath, bring yourself back to your now, and see if you can find a new perspective. This is in our near future, so it's this awareness that this piece may be up for us. We're wanting to feel safe, we're wanting to feel secure, we're wanting to feel like we've got it all figured out and everything's going to be okay. And it's understanding that okayness is a bigger thing than a material object. That okayness is an inside-out job rather than an outside-in thing. And sure, it's nice to have the comfortable things of life. Let's face it, we live in a privileged culture. We have a lot of the good things in life, and we often take them for granted. But ultimately, what's behind our well-being in the world is our internal comfort with life, our capacity to reframe our experience and to be balanced in our approach to life. Our capacity to realize that we are the ones creating our experience, that we are the ones pulling things into our field. And so this clutching, holding, tight energy is not necessary. We can let the energy of the material flow through and around us and from us, and pull things into our field and let things go and just let it circulate beautifully in the world. So just being mindful, if you find yourself, again, this idea of clutching, holding, tight, anxious, feeling like you have to hold on to something material in order to have your security, just notice that. Just notice it. Breathe with it. Be with it. Notice it. we are human. We are human having this experience. There's no, right or wrong. It's simply awareness. And when we're aware, we can make a different choice and move in the direction that serves our highest and greatest good. Foundation of the reading, completion. Oh, that's a lovely card. So completion is the Four of Wands. We have the Four and the Four. And Four is very stable energy. It's the square. It's the representation, the symbolic representation of the material reality, the three dimensions. Here we have completion. We have a man and a woman, and they're standing back to back under the tree of life. And there's birds up, and there's rays of sunshine coming down, and there's this beautiful ocean around them reflecting the sky. And it's this lovely, the two of them are standing on their little island, and they're holding space, and they have their hands up in blessing and appreciation and gratitude. And there's this, as I said, it's a very lovely energy. And again, I don't think we've seen this one the whole time we've been having the readings through the whole pandemic. So completion is the foundation card this week. The foundation card represents why we're having the reading. And there's this sense of completeness, of coming into our own, of dropping into our hearts, being in a good place, and allowing ourselves to celebrate and appreciate and enjoy that. And send that appreciation out to the universe and thus create more. It's very even energy, the lines of this one. It's a very serene, very stable, very content card. So there's this quality to the foundation of our reading, is this what we want. If we want to create more contentment and peace and well-being, well, then we have to be that. We have to hold that frequency in ourselves and let that emanate from us. Because all things start from within us. It's an inside-out job. We have the energy or the frequency, and then the universe matches us. And we do this by default most of the time. We're not conscious or aware that we do this, and that's why we all fall down. But as soon as we start to be aware of the field that we're emanating, and that's not just our thoughts, but it is our words. It's our thoughts, our words, but it's also the feelings. How are we being in our own skin, in our own body? Are we at ease? Are we happy? Are we content? Or are we anxious and struggling and worried and dissatisfied and frustrated? And just recognizing that, again, it's this getting curious. When we find ourselves in those places that are seized, poignée, as they say in French, such a great word, but that seized energy, when you're there, just breathe into it. Let it soften, let it dissolve, let it open up, and get curious about it, investigate it. Because there's always discernment there, always an opportunity to learn more about yourself. This softer, kinder perspective that we can have will give us a resilient insight into ourselves and into our response to life and the challenges that we face. So, inside out, cultivate this beautiful energy of contentment, of well-being, of ease, of flow, of enjoyment. It's a beautiful, beautiful card. I always think it's summer because, you've got all these flowers in the tree, and the birds, and everything's happy and sunny. It's that quality of life, of the abundance and beauty of life, and how we're part of it. And we can be this intentional, co-creative part of it, or we can be a passive, unconscious part of it. But that's the transition. That's the threshold humanity is at now. Are we going to go forward consciously? And we're being called to. And there's a lot of dissatisfaction to be had if you don't go forward. If you stick to the three-dimensional and you hold on, you're not going to be having such a fulfilled experience. Where the fulfillment comes is understanding what a powerful co-creator we are with life and stepping into that role, engaging with life as a partner and having a wonderful time doing that. How we need to conduct ourselves in the next little while. Passage. Oh, this is really neat because this is kind of the feeling that I've had since Mercury went retrograde last Sunday. It's just this feeling of flow. We've been through a storm. This is the story of the card. There's been a terrible storm. The mast is down. The sail isn't working. The tiller's gone. And these people made it through. Somehow their boat didn't capsize. And they're being carried. There's this huge wave, these swells that are residual from the storm that are carrying them in a new direction, that are carrying them somewhere. They don't know where they're going. But here's the dove And here's the rainbow in the sky, which is the symbolism from the Bible, is this idea of a covenant with God about, that will never happen again, that the world will never be washed clean, as it were. And so here, this is sitting in the position of how we need to conduct ourselves. And it's this energy of trust. We don't know where we're going. We don't know how we're going to get there. But all the signs are there if we have the eyes to see them, that we are being carried, that we are being taken care of, that we can move this. We can move our life experience in good directions. We have a choice. We can fret and be three-dimensional about it and say, oh my God, the mast is broken. We don't have a tiller. Where are we going? Oh my God, and wringing our hands and being miserable and wailing in the bottom of the boat, which isn't good for anybody else in the boat. It doesn't serve us, and it doesn't serve any useful purpose or function. Or we can be curious. We can pay attention to see if there are any other ships around. And you see, he's signaling to somebody. A solution is at hand. So this idea of being in a state of trust that the universe has got your back, trust that all is working out perfectly, trust that this crazy dance that we've been on has all been for our highest and greatest good. It is serving us ultimately. It's been calling us back to ourselves. And if you found yourself, you're in a good way to move powerfully forward with these energies, because this is the way of the future. This is the flow. This is it. It's about stepping into that larger flow, being an authentic expression of yourself and moving with the energy rather than resisting it and pushing water uphill. This is very much about surrender. This is very much about trust. This is very much about stepping into the heart, being in the now, living intentionally in every moment, being appreciative for all the blessings of your life, and trusting that it's all taking you where you want to go. And it is. We just need that reframe. We need to look at things differently and see things differently. And we'll see. It is ultimately serving us. How others are going to be. Signals, information coming in and going out. Everybody swapping ideas and incoming. So wands, creativity, inspiration, and passion. That's wands is down here too. So in the position of how others going to be, we have this card of signals, of information coming in, of ideas coming in, of being inspired, of being motivated. And so pay attention. Notice how the others in your life are being. Notice if they're inspired and support them in their inspiration. If somebody's excited about something, be happy for them. Encourage them in it. There's nothing worse than being excited about something and wanting to share it with somebody who's important to you and having them go, oh, honey, really? Or go, that's nice, dear, in a dismissive way. Find in your heart, from your place of love for that person, acceptance and enjoyment, even enthusiasm for their inspiration. And again, it's not easy because it's not yours. That's not your inspiration. And so it's not about you being inspired and excited about the same thing. You can't fake that. What I'm talking about, though, is being excited for their excitement, being excited for their inspiration, knowing that that's life calling to them and through them. And as a result of that, they will be moving far more powerfully in the direction of their heart's greatest satisfaction, longing, and unfoldment than if they resist it and shut it down. So we are the other in each other's lives. Let's remember to support each other in our excitement and our enthusiasms and our loves and our appreciations. Again, you don't have to love all the same things that the people in your world do. It's totally cool. You don't have to do that. But you can love and appreciate that they are excited and be happy for them. Okay. And isn't it more fun when the people around you support you in what you love? I mean, truly, isn't that the best? And isn't it devastating when you live in a community or a family where your enthusiasm and appreciation isn't seen or recognized or acknowledged, or is in fact run down and derided? We have a very sacred role to play in each other's unfolding. And it's in this unconditional kindness, love, support, and enthusiasm for their greatest good. It's a big As I said, it's a sacred task. We're here to witness the greatness in each other, and the excitement and enthusiasm is part of the unfolding of that greatness, and foster it. Okay, the outcome. Oh, lovely card, the Sun. So we have 3 major arcanas in this reading. Now, I love this card so much. It's this energy. It's very similar to this card if you see the rays coming down and, this pair of man and woman, but here we have a pair of robins. But it's the rays of the sun are coming down and blessing everything. The sun is the source of all life, source of all energy, life, sustenance, wisdom, intelligence. It's all from the sun in our galaxy. And the sun is shining brightly. We have these birds that are mated for life. There's a sense of deep well-being, of ease, of flow, of warmth, of happiness, of celebration, of goodness. This is the outcome. This is what we're moving towards. So we are moving towards this. We can create this. And it's not just summer because it's summer in the Northern Hemisphere. It's the summer in our hearts. It's the summer. It's the golden age of what we can create, of what we want to create, of what we want to see in our world. This is how we need to be focusing our attention and our energy. It's about this satisfaction. It's about this completion. It's about this well-being. It's about this contentment. And just being that, radiating that, holding that, and letting that light shine into the world. Really the only kind of intense card, so to speak, in this reading is this one here. And that's that reminder that when we're holding, when we're tight or uptight or we're poignant about something, we're not flowing, we're not at ease, we're not in our now, we're distracted and worried about something that is not necessarily true or present right here, right now. And so again, whenever we find ourselves there, breathe. First thing, bring the energy of life into your body. That is what breath is. It is our connection to everything. It is the source of life. It is the source of inspiration. That's the first thing to do, and to do it as much as you can consciously throughout the day. Deep breaths. Bring that life force into your body. Visualize it filling you with light. And exhale any toxicity, darkness, any stuck stuff. Just let it flow out of you, knowing that you are this incredible, incredible being of light, and that you are able to do so much good when you are present, intentional, and deliberate in who you are and how you're being in the world. Okay, recap. Balance, temperance, being wise, not overdoing anything. This is not polarity. This is the opposite of polarity. This is the coming together. This is the bridges. This is this being a bridge within ourselves to the division that perhaps we're seeing in the world, understanding that comes from within. Or where are we divided within ourselves? Where are we conflicted within ourselves? And possibly working on healing that part, asking for wisdom and help in healing the inner divide so that we can be part of the healing of the outer divide. So that balancing, it's part of our growth. That's why it's a major arcana. Present environment, the hanged man, this pulling ourselves to a new perspective, leveraging the capacity of our consciousness and our will and our attention, and giving ourselves a new perspective, and trusting that as we are willing to have that new perspective, we are willing to receive the solutions and the inspiration that's there for us, so we can adjust and adapt and be resilient and dance lightly and easily with life. Near future, mindfulness about this energy of holding, of possessiveness, of being stuck in the materiality and thinking that that's the solution. We as humanity are transcending three-dimensional reality. And if you find yourself turning back and grabbing hold of that, I just want you to know that you're in for a rougher ride than if you learn to release that, breathe, let go, and turn your energy, understanding that you are more than a physical being having a physical experience. You are a multidimensional being having a human experience, and humans are multidimensional. We're just aware of a very small part of that. So when you find yourself going into fear or resistance or smallness and holding on to what's familiar and known, just love yourself. Totally understandable. We love certainty as humans, but at the same time, certainty bores us. Change is the one constant of the universe. It's something that renews us and gives us inspiration. We are in a time of change. It's going to bring up that holding and that fearfulness and that tension and that wanting to hold on to what's familiar, even if it doesn't serve us. Wanting to hold on to what's familiar, even though it might not be good for us and may actually be toxic for us. Just that awareness, being with that awareness. Breathing deeply, bringing the light and life into your body, into your field, and releasing the heaviness. Asking for help from your higher, broader, wiser self if you need it. But knowing that it's a very human reaction to go small when you're fearful. That's why being in the now moment helps to unpack fear. Being in the now moment and breathing deeply into your body, letting light and life into your body, helps to release that fearful energy and that tension. Because when we're tight and we're small, we're not flowing. We become more dense. Our field becomes denser and heavier. It's interesting, but we need to cultivate that softness, that openness, that kindness, that willingness to be like a blooming rose. You know, it starts with a bud, it's very tight, and then it expands, and it's glorious in its full bloom. That's what we're being called to do. So again, as we go through our transition as humanity, as we're going through these doorways, as we are changing and shifting, and this small part of you, the three-dimensional part of you, wants to get off the ride and wants to hold on to their blanket and hide under the covers. Just love that part of you. And know that it's not all of you. It's just a small part of you. And let the broader, wiser part of you comfort this aspect of you. And let them know it's okay. We've got this. It's nature. It's our evolution. It's where we are at. It's what is next. And yes, it can be scary. And we don't know where we're going. And we don't know what the solutions look like. And some of the solutions that are being presented to us by some of the people who have a lot of authority are kind of freaky. Those visions are freaky. It doesn't have to be our future. We can craft an absolutely beautiful future where everyone is seen, recognized, acknowledged, cared for, where we live in harmony with the other life forms on this planet, where we clean up our oceans, we clean up our air, we clean up our land, and we co-create and exist on this planet in beautiful harmony, learning from nature and co-creating with nature, not exploiting it, but understanding that it is life just like us and that we're here to thrive together, not dominate for our well-being, but understanding we're a complete picture. So this vision of beauty, of completion, of well-being, of stability, of comfort and contentment, this is our inspiration this week. This is our holding on to this week. This is, it's so interesting because it's bookmarked here. It's the outcome and it's the foundation card. It's this very strong energy of what do you want the future to look like? And go there in your heart, anchor it in your field, be it right now, as if it was already so. What if you knew that the new world that your heart was longing for was already here? What if you knew that? What would you be like? How would you be in the world? I don't think you'd be doing this. I think you would be grateful, hopeful, happy, enthusiastic, excited, inspired. That's where we want to go with our energy. How we need to conduct ourselves. Go with the flow. Been through the storm. It's been hard. We don't have a rudder. We don't have a mast. We don't know where we're going, and it's okay. The rainbow tells us it's okay. The universe has brought us through this. It's provided us with a lot of contrast that's helped us to clarify what we want, and now we got to go in the direction of that longing in our hearts. What do we want? We're not passive. We're not little peons here to be manipulated. We are here as powerful, multidimensional co-creative beings. So we're moving in the right direction, especially if we can get into that frequency in our hearts. How others are going to be. The idea of signals. And they're being inspired. They're being excited. They're pulling this onto the planet through their excitement and their enthusiasm. Know that whenever you're following your highest enthusiasm and excitement, you're pulling this beautiful new world towards you. That's life calling to life. Your excitement, your inspiration is life calling to life. So get really curious about that. Get excited about that. Look for what that shows up in your life, what you get excited about, what you're inspired by. Let yourself be there more often. Let yourself have more of that more often. And this is telling us to support each other in that. To support. If you've got, somebody in your life super excited about something and you have a book that you could lend them, hey, do it. It's like feeding their fire, feeding their enthusiasm, feeding their spirit. And and recognizing that spirit is so important. Feeding that spirit and that inspiration is so helpful, and it's what we're all here to do for each other. Understanding that we don't have to be excited about the same thing. That's not what I'm saying. It's really important, in fact, that we're not all excited about the same thing, because we are a diverse bunch here having this diverse experience, this magnificent diversity of experience, and all the wonderful solutions as a result. So supporting each other in our excitement and our enthusiasm. And then this outcome, giving it life, giving it energy, living it. Use your life right now as information for this. This summer, as you find yourself, out paddling on water or swimming or basking in the sunshine or eating fresh produce from your garden or from the farmer's market, as you savor those pieces of your life, really let yourself drop into them. Really bask in them. Let them become the information for your field to soak up like a sponge. Use it. Use your good moments as your new set point for your energetic field, your physical energetic field, this field that we are a physical body in a field of energy, and we're emanating all the time. But we can use the beauty of our everyday life, the satisfaction in our everyday life. This can be the juice that our sponge soaks up and that we become. And then that's our frequency, and that's what we attract more of. It's like mining your life for the good and living that good. Okay, that's really lovely. It's such a lovely reading. Just be mindful of your little human self. It's okay. The little three-dimensional you is a little freaked out, but it's okay, because we are multidimensional beings and we've got this. We have got this so well. We may have forgotten that we're this multidimensional, incredible life force, and we're remembering. That's what this is about. We're remembering and we're recreating our dance with life. Okay, now, thank you, cards. That was amazing. What I'd love to do is just pull that card to grow on for this week. I just want the one card to just sort of summarize it, something that we can focus on or take away as we do our reading, our life this week. Just bring us into our present moment. So what do we need to know? If we're going to encapsulate all the energy of that big reading, what is the one condensed gathering of that energy for us to use for our good this week? There we go. Ooh, the Chariot. Now that's a fun card. The Chariot is fast forward momentum. So be ready. Be ready, have your intention, and go for it. So the Chariot is about movement. It can be travel. It can be moving houses. It can be moving your life. It's fast forward momentum. So this is, and it's a major arcana. This is, one of our cards to grow on. It's understanding that this transformation that's happening in the collective, in our human collective, is going to happen very quickly. I think we're going to be really surprised. It's going to be like, wow, remember when, and here we are now. And isn't it wonderful? That's what I'm holding anyway. But this is the energy of the Chariot. It's this using the will to focus and direct your wild chariot self. Because chariots, boy, once they get going, they're kind of hard to turn. So you really, where do you want to go? You better line up with it and have that in your consciousness and in your intention as you move forward. So for the week ahead, recognize that fast forward momentum is where we're sitting, and fast forward momentum for our highest and greatest good. So if things feel like they're just changing very quickly and you just don't know what to make of it, it's okay. It's okay. Just breathe and focus on what you want. Focus on where you want to go. Focus on how you want to feel. As I said, use your life, mine your life for the details and the information and the frequency of what it is that you're seeking to pull into your experience. And this is our collective future here. It's personal and collective. Fast forward momentum, fast forward change. It's very exciting. So be ready. Get that vision board up. Craft a vision for your future, what you want it to look like. Craft a vision for the planet and what you want it to look like. That beautiful, beautiful world that we know is possible in our hearts. Give it some concrete embodiment by drawing pictures, or again, a vision board, cutting up pictures of magazines and writing words down that are related to your vision. There's no right or wrong way to do a vision board other than you want to word it from the positive. No negative words, or no knots on your, or shoulds on your vision board, but always from the positive, always from the what is desired rather than what is not desired. Use the contrast of what you don't want to get the clarity about what you do want, and put that on your board. So that's our card to grow on this week. My dear friends, Creator, all those who help to hold the space, thank you. I'm so grateful for this opportunity to be of service, to hold a clear space for the messages that want to come through, for our highest and greatest good, for the messages that help us to remember who we really are and what we're really doing here on this planet, to remind us of that when we get lost in our three-dimensional humanness. I'm so grateful for the distinctions that continue to come, for the awareness that's growing in our hearts, for our empowerment as sovereign beings, having a wonderful, delightful human experience, that we're waking up to our power, that we're waking up to this incredible medium that we exist in, that we are able to co-create with and interact with in beautiful ways for our greater good, knowing that our greater good is also for the collective greater good. I want to thank all those who helped to hold the space. I want to thank all of you listening. I recognize and acknowledge you for holding space in your life for this, for holding space for what is possible, and for seeking the good that's in you and amplifying it with your attention and your will and your desire. Keep on doing the good work. Much love and light to everybody. I will see you again next week. Bye for now.